Hey, it's Simon.
And this is Martina.
And we're broadcasting out of Kichijoji, Tokyo, Japan, the most festive part of Japan.
Oh, is it now?
I feel like we have so much to say for this week's podcast. I don't think we can fit it in 28 minutes. We should probably just stop right now. That's it for this week's
Thanks
show.
for checking in, everyone.
We had so many festival
it
stories.
was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
You know what we didn't get a chance to tell people yet?
What?
About how you went to your grandma neighbor's house.
Okay, like, this is what we mean. Like, okay, so back it up.
Okay.
Back it up.
What happened?
It's Bon. It's mother effing Bon O'Dory season.
Right.
Okay. If you cast your mind back to like some of our first Eat Your Sushi episodes for our first year in Japan, we talked about the time that like I really worked to build a ladder when we saw the festival. We didn't know what it was.
Right.
I didn't want to go. I felt really sad and janky.
Yeah.
And then you were like, let's just go. You're going to have a good time, girl. And I loved it.
Right.
So this year we got our little Kichijoji newsletter in the mail.
Yep.
And it's all in Japanese. And I read the bottom and I saw that it had like Bon Odori pictures.
Yes, and it was happening Saturday and Sunday.
And I was like, oh my God, that's the weekend that we're leaving for Canada.
Yes.
We must go.
For our last weekend, because we're going to be gone for 3 weeks
Yeah.
in Canada, Los Angeles, and Korea.
Yeah.
This was going to be the last time we are going to hang out with Dan as well. So we asked him to come on out and dance with us for Bon Festival.
Yeah, of course. So we're like, this is going to be amazing.
Right.
And so we prepared our yukatas and everything.
Yep.
And I've done my obi, which is the bow around the back, on my own.
Yeah.
But all you guys ever need to do is go online and look up a YouTube tutorial on how to tie your obi.
It's a mess because I had to follow one to try to do mine. And it's so not fun. It's so confusing. Got to fold your thing in half and then you grab tight. And then you got to go through this hole.
Throw it over your shoulder.
It's not like tying a shoe,
No.
okay? Because tying a shoe, like when you were a kid, was a challenge. This is a whole other level of complexity.
But you know what it is? It's
this
like
is like a fisherman's knot.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like if you've ever tried to learn a knot and you've only got photos and they show you like the two lines and then the lines go through this way and they're like A, B and push left and right.
It's like when you look at like how to tie ties. And like this and then flip
do
through
this.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, so I have done it successfully, I think 2 or 3 times on my own.
Yep.
But I was really struggling this time around and I went, I'm going to ask my granny.
And
neighbor.
you just did.
Because I never have. And she told me last year if I need help.
Yep.
Because she always wears a proper kimono. She does like tea lessons. And
Right.
so if she can do a kimono, she obviously can do a simple yukata bow.
Of course.
So I went across in my yukata, holding my obi. I waddled across the street, and she just happened to be coming in the house at that time. And then she saw me, and she pointed, and I was like,
help me.
can you help me with my obi? And she's like, okay. So she called me inside the house, and I went inside.
How wholesome is this, by the way? The story has just begun, and it's profoundly wholesome already.
That's why I'm holding a pom-pom here.
Yes.
And so she brought me into the house, and she helped me all over from scratch. Like my yukata, a couple of hot tips, by the way. Hot tips. I didn't realize that there's a lot of like folding and tucking and creating stomachs in Japanese culture. So when I imagined putting on a yukata, I pictured like a bathrobe where you just go like, it's on, and you just tie it around your waist. But it doesn't. It's too long. It puffs open so your boobs fall out, which was my first year's problem.
Yep.
And then my second year's problem, it's split open, and so my legs were showing, and I was
So
like, what is going on?
No, that was all in your first year because that's when you had your fancy new yukata. So you had your boobs out this way, you had your jude out this way, and you just
here. I looked like a here, according to
it was
tradition.
very, very open.
It was
you didn't tie it right.
Yeah, but so I didn't know there's all this folding and tucking. So she redid my whole yukata for me, and apparently what happens is, for women, you put the yukata back and forth over like a bathrobe, and then you actually physically grab the material around your tummy and you kind of fold it under itself like you're tucking a pair of socks into each other. You know, you take socks and you roll them into a little sock ball.
Yeah.
You're doing that, and you're tying that. You're doing that over the string you've tied on your waist. How many strings did I have on my body? Well, let me tell you. I only had 2 when I did it on my own. She says, okay, we're redoing this. She ties a string around my waist and then folds it over with the tuck. And so then it's less off the ground. I'm like, okay, got it. Then she puts on a second string. She's like, this is going around your hips and it's going to be really, really tight, but it'll keep it together. I said, cool beans. Then she put my Velcro strap around my tummy. I'm like, got it. And then you put your obi on. She wasn't done. She has these little elastic band things that you clip on the inside where your inside of your yukata is, and it comes out the armhole and it wraps around to keep it from bursting open. I'm like, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
Then she tied another string around that one, and then I got my obi on top of that. And then she did the bow for me, and she didn't like it, and she redid it a couple times. But she told me, how wonderful is this? Her mom always wore kimonos.
Yeah.
And so she said she watched her mom get ready and wear kimonos. And when she got married, she too wanted to wear kimonos, but it took her 2 hours a day. Every day, 2 hours.
2 hours.
And I said, how long does it take you now? And she said 15 minutes. And I had to double check with her. I was like, go ju.
Because what she didn't tell you,
or ju go boon, like which one is it?
What she didn't tell you was that it's actually like she leaves the kimono in place and she just slides in and out of it.
Oh, it's
like
one of
a
those
t-shirt.
secret. It's like the zip up the back kind.
It's one of those.
Sneaky. Anyhow, I was really amazed by that because there's so many bits and bobs. And we've mentioned this before in our how to wear a yukata video.
Yeah.
Yukatas are way less stressful. It's just supposed to be a way to get between the bathhouse and your home. That's what it was for. It's literally a bathrobe.
Well, let me just say, after you got your yukata done and you came home, like your eyes were just like welling with tears from how wholesome this was, because this is really, it was really special to like go across the street and our grandma neighbor, and you know, like we're here in Japan and you know, we don't know things all too well, and she's like, don't worry, like come over whenever you need, I'll help you out. She tied that up, and that just as soon as you came back, I like that. I'm gonna cherish this forever. Yeah. It was one of those.
And you remember what she told me as well? She said, like, I told her, like, I tried, but like I'm not great at this. And she said that a lot of Japanese people don't even try. So she said she's proud of me for trying, because she said you've tried 2-3 times. I've seen your yukata and I've seen your obi. And she says, and most Japanese people don't try. They just go straight for help.
And you know what? Some people don't even do that, because like I remember like. Because let me just tell you, after Martina got this yukata done, she was Captain Judgy Pants of lots of things. So she saw lots of other like Japanese girls with their yukatas afterwards, and she's like, that's a clip on Obi, I could tell. That's this, that's that.
This hasn't been tucked right.
And then when I started doing mine, she's like, no, you got to do this. No, you got to do that. You look, it's terrible. I'm like, whatever, girl.
Well, you're making me sound like a monster.
Because I was just like, I folded it over and you're like, you don't have the belly right. I'm like, I don't want to do a belly. I can't do a belly.
But do you guys remember? Throw your mind back to, we did a video about the festival.
Right.
And Simon got stopped by a man who was like, nah, brah. Yeah. And he redid his whole yukata for him.
So that was very nice of him to do. But
we didn't know that men's yukatas are supposed to be slung low on their hips and they're supposed to look like they have a fat belly.
Sure. I was like, wow, that's a very nice gesture. Thank you for doing that. But like, I'm not going to put myself through the stress of trying to do the same. And you're like, you're doing it wrong. Just your chest is out. It's wrong. And then afterwards, when
because I read online that if your chest is out as a man, it's considered to be sloppy. And Simon's so wide that all his chesticle hair is out. And I'm like,
oh gosh. And then afterwards, it was really hot when we got to the festival, and I even rolled up my sleeves a little bit, and Martina was mortified.
I was.
Just
Dan called
mortified.
Simon a discount samurai.
A budget samurai. I'm the working man samurai, okay? Not this elite samurai that you can't afford. I am the samurai for the people, okay? So everybody could afford me. But I had my sleeves rolled up, and I was very comfortable, and I really enjoyed it. And I saw other people with their sleeves rolled up as well, so I can't be judged too heavily.
But the people with their sleeves rolled up had clip-on obis, and so I was judging them.
I was like, everyone.
You didn't even make your own obi. You clipped it on, because you can buy ones that are like the bow's made, and you just clip it on. And I'm kind of like, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, what's the point? You're wearing a yukata once a year, maybe twice a year. Like, shouldn't you go through the struggle? You know what I mean? Come to Japan, rent a yukata, and remember that I'm judging you from a distance.
After we had our yukatas done, and then we wound up going down to Kichijoji, like a lot of people actually like were stopping us and telling us how much they liked it. Like like there's some older Japanese that are like, oh, sugoi.
Actually, she called you suteki.
Oh yeah, she's like, suteki desu.
She went, oh, suteki desu, and then she turned to me and she went, kawaii. And I was like,
and so many people were stopping us, and it felt just so nice, because I'm like, do they stop other people, or are they just stopping me? Because I feel so flattered right now in my slobby budget samurai, chest hairs coming out, left nut dangling from the bottle. That didn't happen, that part right there.
Simon wore shorts underneath his yukata.
Yes.
And in his pocket he put his money. So when he'd walk up to get money, to get his hands into his money, he would take his yukata and swing it open. And I imagine that millions of old women passed out thinking that he was like flashing them, because they don't expect men to be having pockets inside it. They think that you're just opening up like a
Well,
Roberto.
I'm revolutionizing the yukata game, all right? It's pockets. Learn them. They're cool. It took us a while to find the Bon Festival, because usually they have it by the graveyard in Kichijoji.
One of the temples.
No, one of the temples. And this year they actually had it at the top of the department store whose name we don't know. It's a circle line. We call it EE because in Korean, like circle line is a letter for E.
Yeah.
But I think somebody here called it marui, like maru for circle and E for E.
I don't know.
We literally don't know. But it was on top of that this year, which we've never done before. And
what was funny about it was that we walked the block because you hear the drums. So you hear like
where is that? What, is it over here? And then like we walked down the street and then the music got quiet. We're like, no, we got to turn back. And then we kept on circling around the department store, and we're like, oh, It must be on the roof of the department store.
It sure was.
And then we saw a sign that said, yes, it was on the roof of the department store. It was weird going through a department store to go upstairs to the roof, but it was actually very delightful because we've never been on that roof, and that provided a view of Kichijoji that we just haven't seen before.
Not to mention that things really came together beautifully because I'm sure you guys saw in the news that there was a typhoon warning. The first landfall typhoon was hitting Tokyo,
right?
And so all the festivals this weekend were canceled. Like there were a whole bunch of festivals, and it was just all like canceled. Luckily, the typhoon didn't do too much damage. There were some islands that got hit, but it wasn't as bad as they thought.
Right.
And Tokyo didn't get hit really at all.
Yeah.
And so it was a bright blue, clear sky, cotton candy sunset. So you're on a rooftop. It was the 9th floor, right? Of a building, 10th floor, because you had to climb up an extra.
It was pretty high, I don't know.
And you just saw pink sky, beautiful blue and white puffy clouds.
Right.
And everyone was just like you're surrounded by this rooftop that's covered in fencing. And right in the center is this big lifted up stage with the drummers and the older women in yukatas showing you how to dance.
Right.
Everyone's circling around it. Huge pink lanterns, pink and white. And actually, I hit myself in the nose.
You got so excited, you just booked yourself.
You guys couldn't see that in the podcast version, but I had to say something because everyone just watched me slap myself in the face with our covers.
Right.
Dan said something interesting while you were off dancing, you fancy pants.
Right.
Because as soon as we got there, I was like, I'm going to get in line and get yakisoba and beer. And I turn
I'm gonna
around
start
and
dancing.
Simon is already in the...
But like we were discussing this before about the dancing. It's very different than the kind of dancing that I know, because here it's like you go to the place, you don't know what the dance is.
No one does.
Nobody
except for
does.
The women that have like learned it.
And then we just like you get in there and you try to follow. So I'm usually like every dance has a clap. I can memorize the clap first. What comes after the clap?
Yeah.
What does a clap come after? So like after like a few rounds, because they do like the same like 4 bars over and over and over again for maybe like 15 minutes. And then like as soon as you like see like a few times, and like, okay, I got it. You could follow the rhythm.
And then they'll often stop the song. Everyone will clap. And then they'll play it again. And when they play it again, you're like, I got
it this time.
It takes me a full song. Like if I start at the beginning, it'll take me the full song to get probably 80% of it.
Right.
But there's always some backwards move.
Yeah.
Is what throws you off.
It's always the like
this
the dab that they do.
Yeah, they do a dab. They do like a head dab, and then you go backwards while you're dabbing.
2 steps, and like the 2 backward steps are always the scariest because like I don't know if I'm gonna bump into someone.
Yeah, because you're all very close together. It's basically. North America does line dancing.
This is circle dancing. Yeah.
So it's exactly the same thing where you're all like, I got friends.
Going in circles and dancing. So as soon as we got, and so like the point that I was trying to say about that is that like you're not there to impress anybody with your dance moves. If you look bad, it doesn't matter because everybody looks bad.
Yeah.
You're not going there for any mating ritual. You're not picking up anybody with this dance.
With
you're
honeys.
just there like in a community. You got like people our age. You got people profoundly older
Little
and profoundly
kids, old
younger.
People, teenagers.
Everybody just getting together and dancing to the singing of and the beats of the drum. And it's just such a wonderful bonding experience.
I have a request for you.
What is it?
I can't do it because my knee's wrapped up right now. You can't see because it's under a blanket. Could you get me my phone? Because I want to play a clip of the music for people to get them a little bit in the vibe.
Sure.
So if you could just walk over because I made a video. One of the things I was going to say while Simon's getting my musical backup here is speaking of the dancing part, we were mentioning before that how you're not there to pick up, you're not there to do anything involved. You're just there to dance, right?
Just there to dance.
And what's amazing about it is that there's such satisfaction that comes from learning the dance.
Oh gosh.
I mean, Dan said he's been to like Bon Odoris before, but he never really like hardcore danced like he was with us because we were like, no, we're
no, you throw yourself into it.
When we learned the first dance, the second time around when he repeated it, he said afterwards, he's like, you feel so thrilled.
Right.
It's like, it's a group effort that you've all learned it together. And like, you just go in this circle. So everybody that comes in that's new goes, wow, they're so good. Or they're not so good. No one's ever like, they're so good, I'll never be like them. They're like, if I try hard enough. And in fact, you should tell the story about the father that gave up in front of you.
So like in front of me, there were like 2 teenage girls that were dancing and I was dancing behind them. And I had totally had like the dance down perfectly by then. And like their father came in and he was like maybe like mid 40s or so, and he started like dancing with them a bit, and he looked happy to the point that he finally got like tired and he was about to leave. But then he turned around and he saw me, and when he saw me, he's like, oh shit, I can't stop now, let's dance together. And he turned around and we both started doing the shovel,
there's like a farmer dance where it looks like you're actually shoveling.
You gotta do the push, you gotta do the push, you gotta do the dab, you gotta do the dab, you gotta do the pop pop bop, bop. And like we all did it forever. And I'm like, I was super into it. And I kept them there for a while. And it was great because I didn't know this man at all. Never met him. But like when he saw me dancing and like, okay, let's all dance together.
We're doing it.
And it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's a really good feeling. And we had a couple of really funny moments this time around because the tape cassette broke.
Oh my gosh.
And the three of us howled with laughter
this was a travesty.
And I don't know if you saw it, but the guy beside Dan, the Japanese guy,
he
was laughing at our commentary.
Was he?
Because we joked about how there was all these weird audio issues they were having. So like they were trying, it sounded like somebody was trying to plug in a microphone that was live. And so when you plug it into the sound system, it does like a, but it really felt like Skrillex because it went like, and it's blasting on the rooftop and everyone's like, oh.
They had at 7:40 p.m. They started bingo. So a lot of people came there for a bingo. So everyone got their little card. We didn't get a card because I just came there to dance. But the thing is, the bingo went on for like 20 some odd minutes because the person who was reading out the number, the mic would die, just go in and out so quickly that she couldn't complete a number. It'd be like,
yeah, and you couldn't hear her.
Is that 43 or what? And she's like, are you 40, 14? What is it? Nobody knew.
And then when she got close to the speakers, there'd be feedback. So it would go, and everyone's like, oh.
It was just so long and so bad. And then eventually, like, when they started playing their tape afterwards, like when bingo was finally done, last thing about bingo.
Yeah.
When it was over and then, like, the people that didn't win, like, half of the crowd just left. And I'm like, we're here to dance. We're not here to win stuff at bingo. You bring your family back here and you dance with us.
Right, but I told you this before. I predicted that they would play some kind of a game because most Bon Odori festivals have games for kids. Like they have fishing ponds where you catch fake balls and the balls lead you to prizes.
Right.
They usually have games. This one only had dancing and food. Did you notice? And so I think that this was kind of like the family GTFO card.
Yeah.
Because it was 8 o'clock by the time it was done. And the Bon went until 9.
Yeah.
So I think this was kind of like the let's wrap it up. All the kids can go home. The babies are crying. It kind of gave everybody, like the kids were like, oh, there's no more fun. And then the parents were like, thank goodness. And they left. And then it was just kind of like the people that were dancing beside us by the end were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Like 30s. Like
it
kind
I
of
didn't
became
really see many kids by the end. Youther, you say?
It became youther.
Youther.
That's my story.
Younger.
Anyhow, back to the tape cassette.
The word is younger.
Oh, it's not youther?
Nope.
Why?
Well, you see, English.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been teaching for quite some time now. Maybe I just... Hey, we keep being told that things we say are offensive.
We said
I'm like,
smoothier in our last one.
No, look, we'll say things like, I said my knee is janky, and then I'll find out that janky is super offensive now.
Yep.
And I'm like, I didn't know
that.
I
don't know what these words mean anymore.
Especially because, like, you need to be told things are bad when you're living in a country where it's bad. But if you don't live there, you think, like, when I say AC to people, I'll say things like, oh, the aircon's really, really good in the konbini. And people are like, is that an English sentence? And I'm like, right. Aircon is Japanese Korean for air conditioner, and konbini is convenience store. So I'm just
because
saying
I feel like
now.
when we first moved to like Korea, we're just like we had our North American mentality with us, and we were like applying that to a lot of things,
which was great for teaching because it helped the kids know what was happening in North America.
But now that we're in our 11th year now
in Asia,
it's kind of like I feel very confused about North America because like for our plastic video, people are like, yeah, we had those straws forever. I'm like, since when? Like for the past 10 years, and see, I don't know, but back in my day, we didn't have those straws back in my day.
So people will say things like, "Oh, it started happening 2 years ago," and I'm like, "Right, but that's 2 years ago that I haven't been."
I remember when we were in Canada, and like I tried to give change, and they're like, "We don't accept pennies."
Oh my god! And
I'm
like, what?
Why? And they're like, we just don't. I'm like, since when? And she's like, for 2 years now. Like,
and this girl thought that like, she must have thought we were tourists or American or something because we were handing pennies over, and they round up now apparently. The point that I'm saying.
Yes, the point you're saying.
The tape cassette joke that we were trying to get at was they started the festival after bingo again.
Right.
And the three of us were already laughing at how bad the audio was because we do audio for our jobs. And so we were like, the cables are broke. You guys have old cables. There's cracks or splits.
We're not experts in audio, but we know a couple things.
Yeah.
You know.
Thanks for telling us the mics are supposed to be
Thanks for telling our first podcast. We had to play the wrong way. Quality entertainment here.
So we were all joking that because it's Japan and people are very OG, this is probably like a record player or like a tape cassette because you can never hear these songs outside of the festival. Like it's not like a Christmas Carol.
You can't buy this on iTunes.
Right. I tried to look it up online because I wanted to like practice some of them and like listen to the songs and learn the words because I want to sing along with it. Because I like singing.
I'm pretty sure the song yo. That's
Anpanman.
The Anpanman song. Yes.
But anyhow, I couldn't find it. So we were joking that it's probably on tape cassette. And then honest to God, the song starts up and then goes like, and just goes, and then they're like, sumimasen on the microphone.
No, they're like and
that's right. And they said in Japanese that the tape broke.
yeah.
And we're like, you are hosting a festival on the rooftop. Like, how charming. It is 2018 in Tokyo.
Yeah.
A very ahead country.
Very modern country.
I pay for everything using my phone because I scanned their subway card into it. And I go, taxi, konbini, you name it. I can recharge my phone money while I'm sitting on the thing, but they are using a tape cassette to play the only tape of the only song on the rooftop.
The
where
one person
hundreds of people,
yeah.
only once a year, you'd think they would upgrade. But Dan said to me, the thing about Japan is they don't upgrade unless they think they need to.
Yeah.
So I never thought about that mentality before.
Well,
so
next year we better get something new because that was pretty bad.
No, exactly. So he said next year they'll make a change. He goes, but they don't change for the sake of it. So that's why I remember when we were in Korea, and the same with Japan, there's still things like the stamps.
Right.
Like they're not using signs or chip cards. Like you can.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right, because they're like, well, that's it. And people file things away in Asia. So like if you work in Korea and Japan, you'll be frustrated at all the paperwork. And the paperwork will go into these containers and they'll open up the wall like as a teacher and you'll realize that the entire building is made up of records that are
Point
paper.
is that they stick with like stuff until it actually changes.
Yeah. So
before we go, I have one last story I wanted to tell.
Oh my God, are we almost done already? We need to talk about food.
So the food that I want to share.
Wait. Go, Simon.
Okay. They also sell like yakisoba at these festivals, and they sell sausages. I just had a workout that day, so I wanted to have a lot of protein. I wait in line. I order a couple of sausages, right? So I had 2 sausages, go back, I eat them. I'm still hungry. I go back for a second sausage. I wait in line. They're like, oh, you're back already? They looked very confused. I'm like, yep, I'm back for more sausages. Went back, ate that sausage. And afterwards, I'm like, you know what? I still could go for another sausage.
Yep.
By the time I came back for the 3rd sausage, they're like, hey, they're like, 3 sausage. It was actually 4 sausage because I ordered 4 the first time. But something wound up happening is that by the 4th sausage, there was no ketchup left. Because on the second time that I went, like the guy wound up taking the ketchup on and wound up like squirting a little bit on and some mustard on. The first time I went though, I think I kind of did something bad because they gave me the sausage, but they didn't give me any ketchup or mustard, probably because they didn't ask. So I just walked over, I grabbed the ketchup, and I just went... squirted a lot of... And they probably looked at me mortified because they're like, we need to we
needs to last
we
us
need to
till
survive.
9 p.m.
And then finally when I went for my last sausage, they were all out of ketchup. And I'm like, this is probably my fault because I took too much ketchup.
Simon the ketchup thief.
And I was even more embarrassed afterwards because I would throw out my garbage after every single sausage that I had. And it was a little bit of styrofoam and the sticks that the sausages were grilled on.
Yeah.
And I would go up to the garbage plate. I would go up to the garbage guy who was right by the elevator door. And he had like 8 different garbages for cans, for plastics, for
bottles,
styrofoam,
bottle cups,
cans, for food waste, for this and that. So then first time I go, I put my plastic in the right thing, chop, and the stick, he's like, no, not over there, put it over here. I go, okay, got it.
Got it.
Second time I go back with Martina's garbage. I'm like, okay, the chopstick goes there. He's like, no, it doesn't go there, it goes here. I'm like, oh, okay, got it. Next time I'll get it.
And you told me, second garbage to the right.
Second garbage to the right. Come back the 3rd time with my stick. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to. It's like, no, it's not that one. It's this one on the end. I'm like, homie, I'm pretty sure it was a second one to the right.
Yeah.
It wasn't all the way here. Fine. 4th time I go.
And by the way, you're missing the in-between where Simon comes back to Dan and I standing there looking defeated. He's like, I did it again. And we're like, I
can't believe I kept getting it so wrong. 4th time I go back, he just looks at me.
Simon's
He's
like,
waiting for me. I'm like, I know this. Trust me, I got this. I'm an adult.
Who has the key to the kingdom?
I get on the wrong one, and he actually burst out laughing.
Oh my gosh.
He burst out laughing, and he grabbed it and he put it in the one that's the second from the end from the right. And I walked back saying, second from the end from the right, second from the end from the right. Finally, for my 5th time that I went back, I got it right.
Did he clap for you?
He was very happy for me.
Yeah.
And that's my story about the ridiculous garbage. Because usually I'm used to festival just going, and you dump everything. Like when it comes to Cherry Blossom Festival, they just have like the big communal like tent of garbage.
But that's different. That's because there's so many people going through the park starting at like 9 a.m. going till 10 p.m. There's no possible way they could keep up with the sorting demand.
Sure.
It would be a full-time job.
Right.
So they actually bring in like beep beep trailers that are open for you to put your garbage in.
Yep.
The best part though is everyone uses it. You know, it's charming that
There's
everyone
no garbage
cleans
on the
up.
ground considering like how many people are there.
Yeah, there's some things that fly away, like bags and stuff, but nobody actually just stands up and leaves.
Yep.
No one's ever like, we're done here. Like
all the
everyone
people
makes an
around
effort.
us,
Yeah.
because like we would be off to the wall if we wanted to eat. There were like lots of people sitting around us. Nobody left their garbage behind.
Nope.
Everybody picked it up and put it away.
Yep.
Like responsible, decent human beings that I would expect the rest of the world to do.
I know.
I don't know why they don't.
I don't know. The garbage thing makes me really mad. Are we gonna? By the way, is the time gonna stop on our?
We got 2 more minutes, and this is gonna stop in probably 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes as well. So
Okay.
your last point.
Oh, my last point.
Oh jeez, we're gonna say about garbage.
Should I talk about garbage or should I talk about dancing? Or which one should I do now?
I don't know. I put you on the spot.
I'm panicking. I'll be honest.
Okay, I'll tell one more story because you got confused.
Go for it.
I was dancing and some girls were laughing at me. But I wasn't embarrassed because I wasn't dancing because like the moves are supposed to be very elegant.
Yeah.
There's like the like touching. I was just
Okay.
like what you got
Yeah. You know what I
There
want
was
to do?
one that was like they had the move that was like you're supposed to be like flicking up like this and flicking up like
Yeah.
this, and I did the Carlton dance from Fresh Prince
He
of Bel Air.
did,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you remember because it was like the same movement of the hand going up.
Well, we also have like a little song pattern that we got down for one of the newest Bond dances that we've done before. Normally, you always face someone's back and you go in a circle.
Right.
This time, it was more like a line dance where we
Yeah.
all faced the people on stage.
On stage.
And we moved left and right and forward and back.
Yeah.
And this one was my favorite because you went 1, 2, 3, clap.
1,
1, 2, 3, clap. 1, 2, 3,
Hold
pose.
on.
1, 2, 3,
Hold that.
one.
Walk
Get
towards the
money,
stage.
Get money.
Get clapping.
money,
Get clapping.
money.
Step
You
back. Step
don't
back. Step
know
back. Step
me.
back.
And then you'd repeat that. And so by the time we got that song down, I actually Dan said it
That
helped
was
out.
literally the
the
entire
full-
4 moves of the dance,
Yeah.
and just do this for half an hour.
Yeah, and then they anteed it up where
Yeah.
they had it spin.
Right.
And then they tripled it where you did 3 spins.
They only anteed it up because the first dance was with older ladies, but then like afterwards they said, "Okay, older ladies, go off. We're gonna bring the young ladies." And then the young ladies are like, "Here's how we spin," and I'm like, "I cannot do these
No,
spins. I'm
not
just
in my
gonna keep
little
on doing
wooden
the old
clogs.
lady
I
version
stepped
of
on
it."
Dan's foot.
Did you? No.
And I told him he's lucky that it's me that stepped on it because I said, who do you think's going to step on my foot? It's going to be Simon because we
Right.
were 3 in a row.
Yep.
So if Simon backs up and steps on me, that would have murdered Dan. His foot would have gone flat and we would have been like, well, that's it for him.
Point is, this Bond
Wooden
Festival
clogs.
yesterday, we just had an absolutely tremendous
Delightful time.
I don't usually recommend that people travel to Japan in the summertime because it's just profoundly disturbingly hot.
Yeah.
Like the spring and the fall are just gorgeous. Even winter is really nice
Yeah.
here. But the summertime is uncomfortable. But summertime is when you have probably my favorite like experiences of the year. Every time we go to Bond Festival, we come back just so reinvigorated, so happy. Like
You feel part of the community.
we have like huge blisters on our feet now from the wooden shoes. Like your knee is completely messed
Our
up
Geta
today
sandals,
afterwards, but still like it's not something that we regret because like we just love this so much, and we could tell stories for like another 2 hours.
We even saw fireworks from the rooftop.
We did in Tachikawa.
Everyone pressed up their faces against the fences and stopped, and we saw fireworks, and all of us were like, oh.
It was just, it was
a
absolutely
delight.
wonderful.
It was a delight.
For those of you that are watching this video podcast instead of listening to it, we got some pictures at the end that we're going to share in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So for now, let
Bye,
us
guys.
just say
We will be in
goodbye.
Canada, and
Yes.
we'll be Instagramming and Twittering.
I don't know how we're going to do this podcast for it because I'm not bringing all this equipment with us. So we might just speak into our laughs for our next podcast.
Maybe,
we'll just
we'll
be
see.
holding it up like this.
We'll go to a park.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, bye, guys. Take care, and see you in Canada if you run into us, or LA, or Korea. And the Spudster and the Memers are being taken care of by our good friends, Ryan and Phoebe, who are
Yes.
going to live in the house. So don't worry about them.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.